Ooh, I don't like that. Hi everybody. It is the middle of the night, so I obviously just woke up. I was having nightmares all night. About Chad, basically. But just wanted to tell everybody thank you that, has been supportive of me. I post a lot of things about him, but that is about the only way that I can manage to go through my daily functions. Like, I maybe seem like a happy person and I'm trying, but in reality, I'm by myself every day. So I can't, I don't have the energy, except for a few things for my kids to be around people. So if I don't text you back or message you back, or, uh, it seems like I'm not trying to make an attempt, it's not that at all. It's just what I'm going through right now. Like, you know, towards the end of our relationship, I mean, meth had destroyed him so much that he wasn't the same person. And on meth, he hated me because it made him hate himself. And I loved him still. And he couldn't realize why I loved him whenever he felt like he was this terrible person. But the drug just had like overcome his mind and he couldn't be happy without it, but he wasn't happy with it. And he did a lot of things that were, not characteristic of him because of the meth. So if you know someone that's on meth or struggling with drugs, or struggling with losing someone, like, try to help them. I'm not saying help me, I'm just saying, like, um try to help your friend. Don't belittle them or look down on people like that. Because of you that knew Chad, he was a very intelligent, sweet person. Um, he didn't really have a lot of support, I think, maybe growing up, or, I mean, not to anyone's fault, but, a single mom raised him, and, he just never really fit in. He was kind of the outcast, and then he got, diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and that was horrible. I mean, he had to have multiple surgeries, and I had just started dating him, um, 4 months before he had to have a surgery that literally, um, made his stomach burst open in front of me, and his whole stomach was open. Not as intense, like the visceral layer, but I had to pack his stomach sterilely twice a day for almost a year. And it was a pretty big hole, like in the middle of his stomach, just an opening. And I had to take care of that. And we went through multiple health problems and, uh, surgeries and new medications and things for his Crohn's. And he was miserable. I mean, his body was just not holding up well. Plus, he had been hit by a car 2 times, and he had basically had a broken back that nobody would help him with because, for one, he was poor or on, public medical card, and two, with his health problems, that they didn't want to risk, so he had to deal with ungodly pain every day. So he had a doctor. They gave him pretty strong pain medications. They started him on methadone and Percocet for his Crohn's disease. Then that doctor was no longer available, and no one else would prescribe him those kind of medications. And, he may not have taken all of them, but he took quite a bit of pain medication at the time to help with it. Because, I mean, he was just in really bad pain. He had a bowel blockage, and I don't know, a lot of people don't know about that. So, um, he really suffered a lot, and he was a good person. But I just saw, the decline steadily in him. And then the damage the meth did is pretty much gives you brain damage. I mean, obviously you guys know this, but um, it also messes, with your heart. So people on the streets now are selling meth that's not meth. Um, some of the things, showed PCP in the system. It showed other drugs, to make it stronger without having to use all those other chemicals, or some fentanyl or whatever was in it. I mean, I saw this proved on, on tests that were done. Because if he would overdose, you wouldn't realize, well, this wasn't the same stuff. You can overdose on meth and die from it. But he was not on meth whenever he died. He had stayed with me. I've never even seen meth to this day. Swear on my kids, which I never do, but I've never seen it. I looked it up on the internet to see what it looked like, but he never did bring it around us. But he did die at my house, and he was trying to get help and be clean, and I was trying to be support for him, and he died in his sleep. It's pretty portrayed of how he was laying and how relaxed at the time he must have been, and a coroner agreed with us that with how I found him, it looked like it was instantaneous. So that's about the only comfort I get, other than our son on a daily basis saying, I want my daddy, I miss my daddy, has really changed my little boy. He is not the happy little boy he was all the time. He's really had to grow up beyond his years, and that's the only thing that really keeps me from losing it, is because I have to be there for him. I have to give him a happy life. But he told me, tonight, he said, we had fun at the trunk or treat, but he said, I miss my daddy. So he wore his daddy's socks in his costume. It makes him feel better. And I had a few outfits that he had here that he had washed. So that's pretty much all I have, unless the pictures and the ring that he had bought me, and a few other mementos and things that I had saved, and times that I had gotten mad and thrown things away. I regret doing that. I have cards and things, but I know I threw a lot of stuff away because I was so angry. But the more angry I got about the meth, there was no point in it, because at that point he went to rehab 2 times and seemed successful in his old self again during the process. But as soon as he got back out into town, I mean, and the people that helped him get it, I have no respect. And yes, you can say, okay, well, I wanted to make some money. He's gonna do it anyways. But anybody that sells drugs out there, marijuana, that's one thing. I don't really feel like that's a problem. I don't personally like any kind of drugs. So I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I used to. That's how me and Chad met. So we both like to go to the bar. But that was almost 9 years ago. So after I had our son, Silas, who is going to be 3 in 2 weeks, then he has to have his party without his dad there. So until you go through all of this, please don't be putting people down that, are depressed or, who are on drugs or on meth, or like, I'm very disappointed in people that do. And if you are selling meth or doing meth, get help, and please think about what you're doing to other people, the consequences of your actions. You have to live right to die right, if that makes sense. I do believe in that, but I also do believe you get a chance for forgiveness. Um, there's a whole bunch I want to say about how I know Chad is still in the spirit world. He's in existence. Like, he is still here. The afterworld is real, but there also is a dark world. And I believe that 100% from what I've experienced and what I've seen. So even though he was doing those drugs, I don't believe that he went to the dark spirit side or hell, whichever you want to call it. Don't know that I believe in the, you know, completely in what we think it is. I think we think it's a little different than what it is, but similar, but none of us know, only the ones that have died and not come back. So this is just my little rant in the middle of the night because I'm upset and I'm tired and I'm disheartened by people. His family had, I'm not going to talk on them a whole lot, but um, sometimes people that are having addiction problems maybe try to keep people apart, distance them, whatever they can do. So they don't want certain people to find out what they're doing. I mean, that only makes sense. But unfortunately, they don't know the truth behind the matter. So that's their loss. Some of them do. Some of them do. Um, some of them are still there for Silas, but some of them are not. They don't have to like me, but you shouldn't turn your back on a child. That's my opinion, though. So, anyways, I don't know that I'm even going to post this, but I just feel better talking about it. All right, y'all. If I do post it, have a good night or a good day, and try to think, especially if you have children, what I said. If you do have a problem, you have to fix it, because your life could be gone in the blink of an eye. You stop doing drugs, you think you're going to be better, but I guess when your body's so weak and you stop putting something in it that it's used to, it's going to give out. Like, his heart gave out. That was the cause of death on the death certificate, was basically from heart problems. But those were the ones he suffered at the hands of putting drugs into his body. So, I mean, among other health issues, I'm sure contributed to it. But you can die from meth, and it'll ruin your life, ruin your loved ones' lives, and it's not fair. It's not even worth it. Things are much simpler than we have to make them. It doesn't have to be the way that it is. I don't understand it myself. I was an alcoholic, and I had gotten divorced and went through a really bad time, so I drank heavily, but I was able to stop, and I don't enjoy alcohol at all anymore. I mean, it's all in your mind. It's something clicks in there. How you perceive things, choices you make. Those are your choices. You're not powerless. You might feel weak at times, but that is the drugs and Satan, basically. I mean, Satan, evil powers, evil forces, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But it's feeding on your weakness. And then you feel more ashamed and more weak but you're not weak. You're very strong. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and you have to want to, though. So, God bless all of you, and I sure hope that somebody watches this and maybe makes a difference.